call this number.
Warning, the following show contains conservative posturing, radical Christian ideas, and may offend pagans, Wiccans, Islamic fundamentalists, and other unenlightened individuals. Callers and guests may be subjected to brash and offensive comments by the hosts and any other type of bullying tactics available. But that's okay. We know why you're here.
This concludes this test of the emergency broadcast system.
Tonight is Monday, September 29th, 2008.
And what's up? Welcome to World of the Unexplained. We're a little late tonight.
Yeah.
This is Jay Scott.
This is Trent Lackey. Tonight's episode is brought to you by this brand named energy drink that I'm consuming during the course of the show.
But we're not going to tell you what brand name that is.
We're just going to tell you it's a brand name energy drink.
That's right. No, that's
Chuck,
not
I'm afraid you're wrong. I'll tell you what, its origins are a country whose letter begins with the letter A. And it's not America.
America.
Anyway. Tonight's guest, we got on Larry Flaxman.
Yep.
He is an investigator out there in Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Takes a pretty scientific approach. And Chuck's going to call him here in just a second. I think his website is www.arpat, A-R-P-A-T.
You want me to look at that and make sure?
Yeah. Why don't you do that?
His website is arpast.org at www.arpast.org.
Okay. And we're going to be talking about a number of interesting things, maybe some ghosts, maybe some time travel anomalies. I believe that was on the email. So while Chuck's calling, our guest tonight.
There's his name right there, man. He's not a congressman. That's,
Oh.
Anyway, I'm here.
Anyway, Scott. So how's the world over there?
I don't know, man. The world's in a strange place right now.
Yeah. I don't really.
Yeah, wanting to bail people out for bad mistakes and bad lending practices. I don't know. The problem is if we don't, well, we might end up in another depression. But if we do, we're not really teaching anyone any lessons here, are we?
No, not really.
The only lesson we're teaching is, you know what? Oh, I'm sorry, you can't handle it. That's all right. The feds will bail you out.
That's okay.
People that work for a living and pay their taxes will bail you out. Sure, it's all right. Don't worry about it, man. It's cool.
I don't know, but I mean, the news is just full of that, pretty much, and then the election. So you have the election, and then you have this financial chaos going on. What else is going on that may be remotely interesting?
That's it.
Oh, come on.
Well, in Jerusalem today, I thought that news was kind of odd.
Okay.
The prime minister that's getting ready to get out of there, he's basically talking about how Israel should give back a lot of the stuff that it won over in the 6-Day War to make Syria happy and curb tendencies of war in the area.
That's a very interesting. I don't think that they've really ever done that.
No, they hadn't. It's some crazy talk.
I don't know. Maybe
crazy talk.
It might work.
No, it ain't gonna work.
Nah, not really.
They like to fight too much over there.
Well, yeah, and they did. I mean, it was sort of taken over. I mean,
it's fair and square, man. It's a war.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And so that they shouldn't complain about it.
That's right.
But we know some other countries that didn't really take to losing war very well.
Yeah.
So they fought another one.
Yeah, by invading our borders. Different war you were thinking about?
Yeah. Okay. I don't think we officially call that a war.
Yeah, well, we don't officially.
Yeah. I was talking about World War I.
Oh, okay.
Treaty of Versailles. A little history lesson for you guys out there. Treaty of Versailles, very unfair to the Germans. Adolf Hitler used...
The Germans started it.
Okay,
They start every world war. You notice that?
Now, hold on now. Hold on a second. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it is.
Well, there was...
Big Germany will take a motherland.
In Austria-Hungary, it was the Austro-Hungarians that really started that crap. In World War I, of course, it was their leader that got assassinated in Serbia. But it was just like a stack of dominoes. I read this really interesting article, speaking about World War I, about this, what was the guy's name? It was the last doughboy. He's the last living American soldier who was over there in World War I. Oh. And he's still alive, and he lives in West Virginia. I can't remember his name. But I thought that was really crazy when you think about it,
That is pretty wild.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But it's called The Last Doughboy. And that's a weird name when you think about it, Doughboy.
You think of Pillsbury.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, none of the American soldiers over there were called doughboys. So what was all that about?
I have no idea. No idea. I don't know my history that well. Chuck's all mumbling.
Obviously not. Yeah, he's being conspiratorial.
It sounds that way.
You know, because, I mean, remember, the hillbilly psychic labeled him as being,
Can't get our guest? What, you get an answer machine? Really?
We'll call back.
Okay.
So,
Left the message, hey, man, it's Wotu. Pick up. Pick up. You'll be on Wotu tonight. Pick up.
that's why our professionalism is very well known in the community.
It is, man. They know us as trained professionals.
Yeah. Hey, we woke to. Come on now. We want to talk about stuff. Weird stuff. Talk about weird things that make you feel all weird in your mind. Weird.
So Chuck,
Weird.
just turn that knob over there. You'll get that effect. So Chuck,
Oh yeah, that's right.
So Chuck, are you doing the Sleepy Hollow thing, brother? Chuck is going to be there with me in Sleepy Hollow. We're not going to be able to. You all right there?
I don't know.
All right, Chuck is going to be there with me in Sleepy Hollow. Halloween. So if you guys want to come up, meet Chuck and old Jay Scott.
That's the guy talking right now.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's right. You can meet us. Chuck's not as silent as you would think he would be.
He usually plots and plans.
He doesn't just
Actually,
say
he's
we
plotting
out.
and planning right.
There's more to Chuck than we out.
Well, sometimes he says booyah.
Sure, there's more to Chuck than booyah.
Booyah.
But yeah, if you guys want to come up and hang out, Sleepy Hollow is going to be the place to do it. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to broadcast live. It's just going to be too much of a pain in the butt. So we are going to take some cool little audio clips here and there and bring them back and put them in a recycling machine and spin them out for you and toss them at you.
Spin them?
Come back, yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
So it'll be fun.
Are you going to dress up for Halloween, Scott?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm going as the Headless Horseman.
How are you going to go about that, Scott?
Well, Chuck's going to be the front half of the horse. I don't know who's going to be the back half yet, and I'm going to ride around.
Oh, that's stupid.
This is a health insurance claim waiting to happen.
It is.
Yeah.
But, hey, what are you saying? I'm fat?
Yes.
Maybe Chuck should be the Headless Horseman and I should be the horse. Yeah, maybe that would work out better. Yeah, I don't know.
I think I'll, maybe I should be, 1972 David Bowie from the Ziggy Stardust tour. Yeah.
No. You should be Labyrinth David Bowie.
1986 Labyrinth David Bowie. Yeah, maybe so.
I'm David Bowie from the Labyrinth.
Like a mullet party or business in the front, party in the back.
Yeah,
right.
But blonde. Blonde mullet. Either that or maybe that scene from Dark Knight with the Joker and like we're talking about it, but Scott hasn't seen the movie yet, so I can't really tell him.
It's coming out on DVD soon, man.
Oh, whatever. It's not even the same. You gotta go to the theater and watch it. Scott just hates to go out and because of the celebrity status that we hold here in Kernersville.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's really rough.
If I don't get shot at or shot the rod too.
Right. But the scene, Chuck, the one where he's the big explosion.
Oh yeah.
I think that'd be a really awesome costume for Halloween. I think I'd scare the crap out of people, really, dressed like that. Probably.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Have some pretty good makeup though. He's nasty looking.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I think it'd be a lot of fun. So I have a kind of a fun outfit, Labyrinth David Bowie, or I have a scary outfit, Joker from Dark Knight. But I can't really tell Scott because he hasn't seen the film, so I don't want to ruin it.
Sorry, man.
That's okay.
Headless
Horseman.
You could be ruining it for the people listening too. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, but I haven't explained anything.
I'm just saying, if I had seen the film.
All right, that's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking out for you guys.
How inconsiderate I am.
I know. I'm looking out for them. Yeah. You're just trying to put them down, bury the man low.
Yeah, Barry Manilow.
Yep, Barry Manilow.
But yeah, I think that's pretty appropriate. But I think that'd be a pretty cool outfit, and you would be the Headless Horseman.
Yeah.
Really?
No, I'm not. I don't know if I'm going to dress up, but I probably will. I just haven't planned that far in advance.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get our itinerary together. You going to be there with me?
I don't know.
Trent's going to sell us out.
I'm not. Don't be saying crap like that.
Who's selling him?
Trent's selling me. I don't know. And you.
I'm just saying, you know, I got school and exams that are coming up.
No, I understand that, man. That's why, when are you going to know something?
Pretty soon, actually, tomorrow. I should know tomorrow, one way or another, you know.
Well, good. Then we can get the official status of Trent in the Woe2 gang. D's not going to be able to come, unfortunately.
Yeah, he actually has the same problem I do. Yeah. You know, only his advisors have basically said no.
And he's not here tonight. Excuse me. Gosh.
Come on, pal. You ought to drink one of these brand-named energy drinks.
I should. So tasty and delightful.
Made in another country whose name begins with the letter A.
America.
Another country.
Africa.
It's a continent.
Antarctica.
Nobody
That's
lives
another
there.
continent.
Yeah.
That's all I know, man.
Okay. What are we at?
I think we may have our guest. Do we have our guest on, Chuck? We do? Cool. Well, we're not going to...
Wait a minute. I think I just hung up on. Which one do we call out with?
One.
I think I did.
No, something's on hold there.
Yeah. I don't think anyone is.
Okay, well, anyway, we're going to take a break.
There's only one way to find out.
We're going to take a break, and while we sort through these technical difficulties, Chuck. Anyway... The silver phone. Anyway, while we take a break, guys.
Yeah, I'm the only one. I feel like I'm the only guy on the ball right now. Scott,
you are, man. You are. It's cool
because it's the brand name energy drink.
It is
very
much.
You should have all drank one of these brand name energy drinks.
Well, anyway, listen. We're
and lost that like had no sleep last night.
We're going to take a break.
Keeps your edge.
Listen to Woe2. We'll be back with our guest, Larry Flaxman, in just a moment after these fine, perplexing messages. We'll be back after this. And we're back on World of the Unexplained. This is Jay Scott.
This is Trent Lackey.
And we've got our guest, Larry Flaxman. How you doing tonight, Larry?
Good.
So I didn't give a bio. You were expecting that. I see Trent looking at me.
Yeah.
Now, Larry, we
got to get the numbers.
The numbers here, toll free, 877-722-7382. That's 877-SCARE-U2. Now, Larry, you're the president of the Arkansas Paranormal and Anomalous Studies team. Is that correct?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that organization.
Our past is we're a member of the TAPS family. We are a scientific research organization. We are not ghost hunters. We are not ghost busters. We.
Wait a minute. Yeah, wait a minute. Okay, who got this guy? Who booked this guy? I thought we were. No, I'm kidding. I'm playing with you, man. Go ahead.
We utilize about $250,000 worth of equipment, and we basically. Our charter is to study environmental conditions that may be prescient to a paranormal event. So we're not ghost hunters, but we happen to have a keen interest in the paranormal field, so that is one of the things that we study.
So you would...
Unlike many of the other groups that are out there, we don't specifically say we're looking for ghosts. We are looking for specific environmental changes that we believe occur preceding a paranormal event.
Okay. So for example, like, a lot of people say orbs this and orbs that. You're not saying that what that orb is. You're not trying to explain what it is in particular. You're just looking for the makeup of it, what it is, if it occurs before any kind of occurrence or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we never will tell somebody that, we think their location is haunted. We don't think it's haunted. We'll present them with basically an environmental report of what we found. And it's then up to them to decide, whether their belief system lets them kind of go down the route of it being a haunted location or not. I would tell you that 9 times out of 10, the locations that we've investigated, there is a very prosaic explanation for the events that have been reported. So very, very few true paranormal events that we've actually studied.
Okay. Now, you said you were a member of the TAPS family?
We are. Yeah, we've been a member of the TAPS family for about a year.
Now, we're actually buddies with Jason and Grant. We've known those guys for quite some time, so that's interesting to meet someone else from the TAPS family. We're not part of the TAPS family. We're independent.
Yeah, well, we don't do investigations either.
Well, sometimes we go
being
out.
Being a part of the TAPS family is actually, it's awesome because unlike what you see on TV, and you have to remember the TV show is really not indicative completely of a paranormal investigation. I mean, it's for entertainment purposes.
Sure.
But, with that being said, being a member of the TAPS family is awesome because we can network with a lot of the other TAPS family members throughout the country and actually throughout the world. There's members throughout the world now, and actually share research data. We can share information, investigative methods, things like that. So it really gives us a more widespread reach than most groups have access to.
Now, how do you know that the information data that you're sharing is equivalent?
You really don't. There are, obviously a huge disparity between the equipment that's used among investigative groups as well as the method of data collection. Most of the things that we share as far as data-wise with other investigative teams, specifically within TAPS, is more of a experiential type data, not so much the equipment type black and white binary data that we collect, just because of the fact that very few groups out there do have the breadth of equipment that we have and the technical expertise to understand it. But yeah, experiential data is a universal thing.
Now, do y'all have one of those? Please beat on me and tell me I'm wrong if I pronounce this wrong. But do you guys have one of those? I think it's a FLIR camera. Is that correct?
We actually have two. We are one of the only groups that I'm aware of that actually has two. Yeah, we do.
And those are fairly expensive pieces of equipment.
They are a very expensive piece of equipment. Yeah.
Now, what have you found? Have you found any really crazy stuff using that equipment, with the FLIR camera?
We had an interesting encounter at a tuberculosis sanatorium with it, where we had what we believe to be a full-bodied apparition that we captured on it. But for the most part, no. For the most part, it's a useful piece of equipment. I wouldn't consider it the holy grail of ghost hunting. It's gotten a very good reputation from Jason and Grant's use of it on ghost hunters. People see it and they think that it's the be-all, end-all of investigative equipment, and it's really not. It's one piece of environmental data. Basically, it allows you to visualize a temperature field, but there's many other pieces of equipment that I think are much more important than specifically temperature delineation analyzing.
Okay.
So it's a cool piece of equipment. It's impressive to be able to pull it out and show a homeowner and say, hey, we've got two of these FLIR cameras. But as far as the actual usefulness of it, it's pretty few and far between.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, because you're right, it just monitors temperature fluctuations, and
that's all it does. It allows you to see a visual
representation,
visual imagery, visual representation of a thermal field. That's basically all it does.
Okay. What other kind of equipment then? Once we're on this, topic. What other kind of equipment do you think is more important as far as evidence gathering besides the FLIR? Maybe not as exciting, but
I think I wouldn't say that there is one piece of equipment that really is more important really than anything else. I think a lot of it really depends on the charter of the organization that's doing the investigating too. We follow 100% scientific methodology. It's fairly boring. It's not like what you see on television. But it's what we're looking for. We're looking at it for environmental changes. So, with that said, a lot of the pieces of equipment that we use are absolutely vital for our work, but they may not be so important for any other people's work. We use geomagnetometers. We've got spectrum analyzers. We've got a lot of custom-developed equipment. We've got one of our consultants is a NASA engineer. It's an actual legitimate rocket scientist.
Wow.
That builds customized pieces of equipment for us as well. We have a three-dimensional imaging EMF meter. We're the only ones in the country that have something like that. It allows us basically to see a visual representation of an EM field in 3 dimension.
Oh, wow.
It's a FLIR basically on steroids and tweaked to allow you to see a EM field. So instead of seeing a temperature differentiation, you're looking at EM field. You can see that in the X, Y, and Z axis. We have, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head everything that we use. We have some very, very high-tech, just standalone EMF meters that we use as well. We've got a deployable remote sensing 4 EMF meter system that communicates with each other and allows you to set up basically a perimeter in a location, and the meters communicate with themselves. It allows you to basically track signal strength within a confined space. I'm just trying to think. We have so much stuff. I mean, it boggles the mind, the amount of stuff that we actually use.
Gosh, yes.
What got you into all this stuff, Larry? I mean,
the whole paranormal thing?
Yeah.
Well, I really wish that I had some sort of defining, really cool story to be able to tell, but the truth of the matter is there's really not one. I've always been interested in unknown things, whether it was UFOs, whether it was the genesis of the pyramids, Bigfoot, anything like that, things that there's not a traditional or rational, I guess you would say, scientific explanation for. And I think the paranormal field, my interest in that really has it's really come along as I've gotten older. And I think, to be quite honest with you, I think it's probably the fear of my own mortality. As I've started to get older, I've started to realize, obviously, that, the time is ticking away, and I really would like to know if there's something else, that happens once you shift off this mortal coil, if there really is something that occurs. So
read your Bible,
that
Larry.
really is
You'll be
the
all
story.
right. I said, read your Bible, Larry. You'll be all right. Anyway, so you've done all this scientific work, and I'm assuming that you guys, basically, all of you in your charter, you're just determined to follow a scientific method in everything that you do. And that's good because, with the scientific method, that's the only way that you can have the same result over and over again to know that you've got something going on.
Yeah, absolutely. We use a customized SQL relational database that we've designed that allows us to basically log all of the binary data that we get on all of our investigations, and we can do cross-correlative searches among our investigative locations. What we're looking for is we can look for specific patterns that occur from location A to location B, with the eventual hope of exactly what you said, reproducibility, where we can actually be able to predict, based on a set of known variables, what could be the possible, quote, paranormal phenomena that might be experienced at location B versus location A.
No, I ask a lot of people this question. I hate to interrupt you, but do you feel that by doing these things the way you are doing them, that parapsychology in general is received a more open response from the scientific community than in years past?
Honestly, yes, I do. The paranormal field really is its own worst enemy. There are so many people that are involved in this field that are absolute flakes.
Sure.
There's so much drama that's in this field. There's just so much backstabbing and just BS. And, I think the lack of legitimate scientific knowledge, the lack of legitimate scientific control, scientific methodology really has done a tremendous disservice to people that are interested in this field. The people that are all the drama queens and stuff that are involved in this certainly are not helping things either. So really, by having a more grounded scientific approach to things, I think it does bring a little bit more legitimacy to an already ridiculed field.
Now, do you have a background in science? Do you have a?
I do, yeah.
Okay. What background is that, if you don't mind me asking?
Physics.
Oh gosh.
Physics.
Wow.
Okay, well,
I couldn't pass physics.
That's
wait a minute.
Pretty. Yeah, I don't think. Did you take physics?
I didn't even take physics. I couldn't get out of the math from biology.
I took
it was
physics.
Awful.
I don't only remember one thing from physics, apparently, and it's just a number. I'm not even sure if I can. It's negative 9.36. It's some kind of. That's the only thing I can remember from physics. It involves like things falling, and they eventually reach that speed.
I think there's probably a lot of the knowledge of paranormal phenomena. I think in the future you're going to start to really see a lot more of that being pulled from the field of physics, specifically string theory, dark matter. I think there's a lot of that stuff that really has a little bit of an interplay with what we're looking at with the paranormal field.
Yeah, that's true. I was gonna. There was several questions I was gonna go on with, but I can't. Oh yeah, well, for example, as you say, the paranormal field is its worst enemy, and from that point, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of hunters, a lot of investigation groups. They really want to see something. In the end,
absolutely.
they really want to see. They want to see the blood. They want to see the action. They want to see the actual evidence. And I think that kind of pursuit and that kind of direction is pretty much a foolish thing to do. And then you have people
Absolutely.
sort of clawing and climbing over each other to try to get that brilliant shot,
unfortunately,
things. And then on top of it, people, there's some out there who are just in it for oh, maybe we'll get a TV show. And then there's fame too.
Yeah.
It's horrible. I mean, I'm not saying.
Unfortunately,
I'm not
I think that's
knocking.
what the media has done to it, though. The media has made it. Oh, look at what we get in an hour show on Taps.
Right.
They don't understand these guys are out there for
like
hours upon hours upon hours
to 10 hours
for 10 seconds.
And to get that image, and a lot of people go into this with the wrong kind of attitude. And
absolutely, they do.
Investigations, I think, in a lot of ways are very. Probably routine and probably at times a little bit dull. But that's how it goes.
I have a very I have a quote now that has kind of followed me around from show to show, that paranormal investigation is hours and hours of boredom punctuated by moments of sheer terror. And that's really true. I mean, you've got hours and hours and hours of nothing, sitting around, staring at LCD screens, talking to yourself in a dark place. That's really... it's really glamorized what you see on television. In an hour show of, pick your favorite TV show, they show 5 minutes of equipment setup, which I can tell you from experience is absolutely not the way it happens.
Yeah.
Depending on the location, we've got a 16-camera DVR, for instance.
Oh, wow.
When we go and set that thing up, even if we set up 8 cameras, even if we don't run the full bogey there, 8 cameras, depending on the length of it, the cable runs, I mean, you're still talking 2 hours of setup, and then, that's just for the camera deployment, not anything else. So, they show 5 minutes of equipment setup, and that's really not the way it is. And then they show nonstop action. It's like bang, 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 bang. And that just does not happen. I've been doing this for almost 13 years now, and I have never seen a paranormal investigation that is as exciting, I guess you would say, as a TV show. It just doesn't happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, and also when you think about paranormal stuff, it's not like they work on cue either,
No, absolutely not.
And that was another question I was it's an issue about investigations that I've had with the TV programs. I think they're great, and I think in a way they popularize the thing. In a way they also do sort of negative things. But you take the good with the bad, I guess you could say. But the one thing that has always bothered me about investigations, and I don't know how everybody does it, I don't know how you do it, but it seems to me if you have especially if you have a scientific approach, it would seem to me, and I just my own thought processes on this. You go out there and you investigate. You set up and you investigate for several hours one night. And I just think that it would probably be more advantageous if you were able to set up a control time and be able to do it over multiple nights, because something may not even happen that night, but then the next night you come back to investigate, something might. Right. And then you know what I'm saying, and just have a series of days that you go back to the same place. You never see that on the shows.
You're exactly right. That's exactly what we try to do within our path. That is one of the things that we try to do, because we believe the exact same thing. If somebody if there's reported paranormal phenomena, you go in for a very short slice of time. You can't always expect that the person had all this activity that it's just going to reproduce itself on cue that specific day that you go, that specific short window of time that you're there. No. So yeah, from a reproducibility standpoint, yeah, that is absolutely ideal, and that's really best case scenario, is that you can make repeated visits back to the location.
Yeah. I mean, that way you have time, and if you have a result, then maybe later on down the line you can have that result repeated, which is, I guess,
it's scientific. And I mean, you've been doing this 13 years. I mean, we probably our weird selves, us and you included, that have been in this a long time, been in this game a long time. I mean, I started the first World of the Unexplained version back in 2001. And that was something that I'd held. Put a lot of props into for a long time, and it's funny how you see how guys like us still hang around. We've gone past. I'm friends with John Zaffis. We're friends with Joshua P. Warren's a good buddy of mine in Asheville. We know all of each other because we've all been doing it so long. But then you turn around one day and there's so many people out there that you've never even heard of in this business.
Oh yeah,
and you're like, where the heck did these pop up?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and new groups, it seems like, pop up every day. Every time I turn around, there's 5 new groups in my state.
And they're all doing it wrong.
They are all doing it wrong. That's an interesting thing that you just said, and that's something that I've long espoused. Paranormal phenomena, paranormal investigation of phenomena has really been occurring in a scientific framework since about the 1860s during the spiritualist movement. Sure. It's really when people started to take a greater interest in this field.
In the 90s.
You're talking about Madame Blavatsky and the Theosophist?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
In the 90s, I mean, with the Ryan Research Center, with J.B. Ryan.
The Ryan Research Center, sure, the Pear Labs at Princeton. Within that amount of time, you're talking, 150 plus years?
Sure.
We are no closer now to the answer than we were back then. So that really should tell you something that, literally, if you're not, we're obviously not doing something right. Or we're following a very structured framework, and it's obviously not working because we're not any closer now. And my belief is that we're looking in the wrong place. I really think that we need to be paying more attention to environmental conditions and also subatomic level stuff.
Well, my question for many years has been, you see a lot of these people go out to cemeteries to hunt ghosts, and
it's a waste.
It's like, if you were a ghost, would you be at a cemetery? I mean,
no.
I'd be hanging out somewhere cool, like
cemeteries
the strip club or something. I don't know, but someplace cool.
That's exactly what I plan on doing.
There you go.
Have some dollar bills.
Larry,
we're no close. We're doing the exact same thing basically with some more high-tech gadgets now, but we're basically doing the same thing, and we're looking in the same place that we have for the past 150 years, and we're not any closer now. So that really should,
tell you something.
Make you kind of step back and think, wow, maybe we're not doing something right.
Maybe the methodology.
That's exactly what I think.
Yeah, maybe the
methodology is wrong.
Well, Larry, hang tight with us. We're going to take a short break. You're listening to World of the Unexplained. Larry Flaxman tonight, and I promise when we get back, we're going to talk about his books. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
And we're back, World of the Unexplained. Tonight we got Larry Flaxman. Give us a call, 1-877-722-7382 or 1-877-SCARE-YOU-TOO. Locally, the number is 336-996-1596. And we're...
Now, Larry, we were getting ready to talk about your book, 1111. Tell us the significance of these numbers.
Well, 1111 basically explores... the 1111 phenomena, as well as other number anomalies. Most people have had some type of experience where there's a number that keeps reoccurring for them, whether it's 1111, whether it's 111, 1212, anything like that. There's generally some series of numbers that a person has repeatedly throughout their life. And basically the 1111 book talks about numeric sequences and what are some possible explanatory reasons for those continued numbers. We also kind of delve a little bit into sacred geometry. There's quite a bit of things that are wrapped within sacred geometry that also tie in with the time prompt phenomena. And that's basically what we talk about. It's a very, very fascinating subject. It was one that I've personally had some experiences with, and when we were talking on the break, and you mentioned that you did too, I have a feeling a lot of people have had that experience before.
So what does it all mean? I mean, what kind of explanations do you have for it?
I don't really want to give away everything in the book, but sure. There are definitely a few explanations for it. There's a psychological explanation. There's a consciousness explanation. There's a couple of different possibilities for people.
What about your own personal experiences that you were just talking about?
I've had 1111. I've had the 1111 itself pop up. It seems like every time I look at my car clock or look at my cell phone or, my computer, it's 1111.
And it gets freaky after a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. Especially when it's that same number continuously repeating like that. You really have to wonder what the significance of that is.
And that's one of the reasons when I saw your book, I wanted to have you on there because I'm like, man, 11. Someone out there is experiencing the exact same thing I am. And that's just weird.
That is strange.
Have you had it as long as you can remember?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I don't know. Maybe thinking back at least 10 years, I really don't recall before that. Just being honest, I don't know. But definitely going back at least 10 years.
And always 1111.
Always 1111.
Yep, same with me.
Weird. So have you had it as long as you can remember?
As long as I can remember, yeah. I never really paid much attention to it. It was always a number, specifically 1111 was always a number that I was cognizant of, and it was always something that, I had wanted to do some research into why this number sequence kept appearing, but, it was one of those things that kind of just gets pushed on the back burner. But, yeah, it was something that I didn't know what actually it meant. I thought, maybe it's just coincidence, maybe it's just some sort of a sick cosmic joke. But really, there are some possibilities. There really are.
That's true. And I'm just going to kind of spout one right now. I don't know if I really have had this phenomenon happen with me. I don't remember a series of numbers that I can tie in, like, oh, it's stopping. It's always 333 or something. I don't know. I can't. I'll pay attention. I'll start looking around for it. But it seems to me possibly that some people. Yeah, the mind's a pretty weird thing anyway. I think we're pretty much all in agreement upon that. That for whatever reason, in your own psychology, in your own mental makeup, you notice this number and your brain holds some kind of significance for that number, whatever it may be, and then almost, it's almost like your own biological clock. For example, some people are real good about waking up 2 minutes before the alarm sounds. Right. Even though that doesn't seem to make any sense, but yet your brain suddenly snaps awake and you know that the alarm's about to go off. I'm one of those people, but this issue with numbers and like looking for them, and you see them here and you see it over there, that it might be your mind sort of focusing a lot of subconscious energy and searching that number out. Now, the significance of it, obviously, I don't know anything about that, but it just seems like that's a pretty plausible theory, at least for me.
It's like Chewbacca.
Yeah, that is. And, numbers definitely play a very integral part in our lives. Whether it's society, whether it's our personal lives, numbers are a very intertwined portion of who we are. And, the time thing, I'm the exact same way. I don't even use an alarm clock. I can, will myself to wake up at an exact time, and I wake up, plus or minus 2 minutes from that time every single time. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think there really is. I think there's definitely a brain connection to it. I think you definitely, you have numbers on the brain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, no.
Well, I mean, our lives are pretty much dictated by numbers for the most part, at least in our modern society.
Sure. Everything revolves around numbers, whether it's your, ATM card, your cell phone, your PIN number, address, zip code, everything. I mean, there's a number basically for everything.
I lived in an 1111 address years ago when I was growing up.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Huh. No,
and I never even thought about it until just now when we were talking about 1111.
That's odd.
But, yeah, it is odd. You remember.
Oh, yeah.
Growing up when I was in high school, I lived at 1111, yeah.
That's right.
Where can these people pick your book up?
The book is available right now for pre-order from either Amazon.com or brick-and-mortar stores to Barnes & Noble and places like that. You can get more information about our books. We actually have a series of books that we're writing. 1111 is the first one. The second book that we're writing is The Resonance Key. But you can get more information about our writing stuff at paraexplorers.com, paraexplorers.com.
Okay. Now, what about this other book, this Resonance book?
The Resonance Key, yeah, that is a book that I'm very excited about. Basically, we are going to posit some theories about how resonance basically is the key to everything, whether it's paranormal phenomena, whether it's unexplained things. We think that there is a definite link between consciousness, resonance, the zero-point grid, and that's really what we're going to be talking about with it.
Okay, well, I guess for the layman, us, what exactly do you mean by resonance? What exactly do you mean by the 0-point grid?
Break it down, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Sound, basically. We think that there's various...
I was going to say, Chuck's getting ready to smack you here with all his...
frequencies of sound, basically, that we think are responsible for a lot of things. Huh. So that's what we're going to talk about.
Talking about Trent. So Chuck gave him the look like, what's resonance? And I could just see Chuck's eyes roll there.
You guys are in radio too.
Yeah, Chuck's got a BFA in classical guitar. That's why I was laughing a little bit about it. So resonance is something that he's very familiar with. But yeah, that's very interesting stuff. Very much so.
That's sound. I mean, the frequencies of sound too. I mean,
there is. Yeah, I mean, there's been studies that have been done. Vic Tandy is one of the seminal researchers in the field. Before he passed away, he's one of the guys that started Radio Shack. Before he passed away, he had done some research into infrasonic sound. It basically started. He was downstairs working in his lab late one night, and apparently he was an avid fencer. And I didn't really know what fencing was. I had to do some research on that. But it's it's where you walk around with the swords and you pretend fence or you pretend to stab each other. So he was really big into fencing. And he had his fencing foil, is what it's called, in a vise one night, and he was attempting to straighten it. And he noticed he had started getting a really bad headache. He had noticed out of the corner of his eye, he saw what appeared to be some type of a foggy, ghostly type apparition. And upon further research, he discovered that the fencing foil, when it was clamped in the vise, was basically vibrating at an infrasonic frequency. And the infrasonic frequency was able to influence the liquid that's in your eyeball.
Oh, wow.
It's very, very interesting. So, there are several theories that have been proposed by individuals that some paranormal phenomena can actually be explained by infrasonic sound. There's actually a book that came out called, I want to say it's the 29 Hertz. And 29 Hertz is a frequency, a resonant frequency that many people have ascribed to paranormal phenomena, whether it's from infrasonic type events like that, whether it's from earthquake, whether it's from, subterranean type events that occur, that a lot of people have attributed paranormal things to that 29 Hertz frequency range. So there's a lot of precedent that's been set with sound. Some of the researchers have gone to, like, the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt, and they've done resonant studies in the Great Pyramid, and they've discovered, that there's a C-sharp chord that when you play a specific tone into the pyramid, that it basically can induce a type of hallucinogenic experience based on that C-sharp that resonates. And, there's a lot of sacred structures throughout the world that have specific resonant frequencies that were tuned to them by their creators. So, sound has a very integral part of our brain chemistry as well. Sound is a very important thing, and it can create very unusual effects.
Yeah, I guess you're right, and I don't know why this.
I wonder if Stonehenge has anything like that.
Probably. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying probably like I know, but if one ancient structure had that, then certainly it's totally possible that others, Great Wall, Borobudur, I don't know, can I go on with them, but a lot of these places, for example, and just because it's human nature too, especially if they're religious sites or ceremonies, you're going to have music with it as well. Or, and the one I was thinking of in particular was Borobudur, which is in Malaysia, I think, and basically the monks.
You don't know?
I think Borobudur is in Malaysia or Indonesia. It's one of the Southeast Asian islands, but if I remember correctly, like the monks there used to, do the atonal chanting, and I wonder if that sort of generated some kind of hallucinatory, mystical experience. But it was just basically a whole bunch of guys chanting different kind of tones, and it was messing with the the liquid in your eye, like you're saying, or the chemistry, the synaptic connections in your brain cells. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely a possibility. Same thing with drumming and some of the other ancient modalities of sound creation.
That's really strange. I mean, and when will that book be coming out?
That'll be coming out in March or April of 2009. I can't remember.
Okay. I mean, that sounds like
you better hurry. 2012 around the corner.
Oh. Okay.
So,
And now the 0 point grid that you're talking about also in the book, what exactly is that?
The 0 point grid is a theoretical physics construct that basically links everything and anything together. It is a field that there's many names for it. 0 point grid is really just one of them. People have called it the collective conscious, the Akashic field. There's different references to it, but it's basically a collective grid, if you will, that we think links living, non-living, dimensional attributes. So it's kind of an all-encompassing type thing.
And I guess the 0 point grid, if you're going to go the physics route, are there like mathematical formulas that prove that exist, or is it still in the theoretical state?
It's still in the theoretical stage, but there is definitely scientific momentum that's gaining ground with that.
I wonder how you would one would go about trying to test, its existence. I mean, that seems like a pretty heavy question, but I mean,
it is. I think one of the things that physicists specifically will be looking at within that realm is when they fire up the Large Hadron Collider. Once they get the leakage issue and the electrical issue now ironed out, I think that's one of the things that they're hoping to help put an answer to as far as the multidimensional nature of our existence. So, when that thing fires up, we may very well have our answers.
Yeah, that's true. Or we may rip open a portal to where the Cybermen
Yeah,
lives.
or if the world doesn't end like some of the naysayers are saying.
Yeah.
Nay. No.
Yeah. What do you take on? What's your take on that? The apocalyptic theories.
No, we have more neutrons and protons that are hitting the Earth on a daily basis than what's being accelerated in the chamber. So no, I'm not concerned.
Oh, okay.
Well,
That's fair.
my whole theory is they got bored and said, you know what? Look, 2030. Do we really need to create the calendar any further out than this?
We're not going to be around.
We're not going to be
No,
around.
that's the thing that I always get about the Mayan death calendar. I just call it that. In fact, I just called it that right now. In fact, I've never called
Mayan
it that.
death calendar. I like that. We're going to coin that as your phrase.
Right. I've never actually called it that before. But my whole thing about it is, okay, they say it will be a new transformation, a new Earth or whatever, if we're going to go that route. Well, if that's the case, then why, they saw that happening. Why in the world did the Maya not see the destruction of their own society? Because there's no evidence of them saying, look, we're not going to be around. We're going to die off in about 200 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
It just kind of makes me question the thing entirely. They can prophesy mathematically this, but they can't realize that they themselves are doomed. I don't know.
Maybe they really weren't doomed, though. Maybe they actually went off to a strip club.
Yeah, that's true.
The whole society.
A Mayan strip club.
Exactly.
Ancient Mayan
still
strip
there
club.
to this day.
Hanging out.
It's somewhere in the jungle. We're going to run across it.
What they thought was a graveyard was actually an ancient Mayan strip club.
Yeah.
They couldn't figure out all the little steps up. That's the stage, man.
The series of very thin, narrow stone poles, that apparently had been lubricated by
This must be a temple.
some animal grease and strange.
Well, you often wonder when you look back, some of the this must be this or this must be that. Really, if you think about it,
Yeah.
who knows?
That's true. I mean, only we only know for a fact that the Greeks and Romans had nasty places like that. Just because they had writing records.
I wonder if they had. See, I've never really done any research on that, and I know we're way off topic here, but
go for it.
I wonder if they had poles back then.
the Greek strip clubs or the Roman strip clubs.
The Greek strip club. I mean, I wonder where the whole pole phenomenon actually came
I don't
from.
know.
I think it came from firefighting. No, I don't know.
I think that's a very interesting point, and
We're gonna have to research that and get back
talk
to
to some archaeologists about. Look, where did
the first pole dancer come from?
From the
Exactly.
strip club.
Yeah,
Maybe.
If you guys, if you are going to embark on any kind of scientific investigative journeys for that, please call me.
Okay,
we'll do
yes,
that. Yeah.
we'll definitely.
We have to do research.
Lots
we need
of
you
research. Lots of
in order to
interviews.
do this, we had to we had to fly to 50 of the most world famous strip clubs across the United States.
You have to have your control.
Bringing with us
exactly
methodology. You gotta have your control.
Bringing with us physicist Larry Flaxman. The group expended.
That always sounds like a documentary.
It does, man. That's a
after
good
the
one.
Sleepy Hollow thing is over with. Maybe we got to look into that.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Maybe another book in the making.
It could be with lots of photos, glossies all the way, gentlemen.
Oh my gosh!
Man. But yeah, we are doing a documentary this year at Halloween on Sleepy Hollow. We're going up there to do some damage, hopefully. So
That's cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
You guys going with a group?
No, just our group, just us, and
we talked to
our
the
filmmaker, and I've talked to the town and cleared everything. So
we'll see how it goes.
That should be pretty neat. Is it going to be an online type deal or?
no, we're going to go and just make a film and come back.
Burn it down DVD. We know a friend of ours that's done a number of other documentaries. They're out there now. Actually, we're in one of them, as a matter of fact, and and so he has all the technical know-how, and
He did his first one on talk radio, and he put us in it.
so
Very briefly, but we're in there.
right. We're not as handsome on TV, and we just got.
Yeah, we're not.
Anyway, it's time for our last break of the night, though. We have Larry Flaxman here on World the Unexplained.
Give us a call, people. Wake up.
Yeah. There's nothing going on. Everything's all falling apart anyway. I mean, we're talking about strip clubs, people. Ancient strip clubs.
877-722-7382. That's 877-SCARE-YOU2. Toll free in the U.S. and Canada. We'll be back in just a moment after this.
And we're back. World the Unexplained. 1-877-722-7382. 1-877-SCARE-YOU2. Or 336-996-1596. Give us a call, guys. We have just a couple more minutes here with Larry Flaxman.
Why is nobody calling tonight? Is the football game on or something, Chuck?
Yeah.
Has that started yet?
Monday night, yeah.
Yeah, Monday Night Football.
I don't know who it is tonight either.
Well, who cares?
If it's,
anyway.
if it's the Patriots, you know who's going to win, guys. I mean, you should listen to our show instead. Oh,
Yeah.
they're off this week? Okay.
Okay. All right, Larry. So we were talking about on the break. What is the weirdest investigation that you have gone on? And
Oh, wow. The weirdest one?
yeah. Let's hear the weirdest one, and then other
gosh.
weird ones.
It sounds like he's on it right now.
I've got some technical difficulties going on.
I've got you, man. It's cool.
Now the weirdest one. Let's see. She's telling me where to sit. You know, she usually this is very unusual. She goes to sleep at 7:00, and she just really wanted to be up and listen to the old show tonight.
Cool.
Oh.
More fans. Get them at an early
Nice.
age. Keep them for life.
A ghost hunter in training, little 2-year-old terror.
Cool. Cool.
Okay, so the most interesting. Here you go. Okay. The most interesting investigation. Well, that would be by far a private residence that we did. This particular individual was a Vietnam War vet. He was being treated by the VA hospital. Very nice older gentleman. His issue was that he was apparently being visited late at night by 2 succubi. And if you're not familiar with succubi, they are female spirits, basically, that come to have sex with you.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, his issue really was this was occurring basically on a nightly basis.
Poor guy.
What was the problem with it?
And the guy's single, not married. His issue was that he didn't want it to go away. What he wanted basically
y'all make
was
it
to
stay?
have it on his own terms.
Oh.
He basically wanted to be able to say when the sexual attacks, I guess you would call it attacks.
Occurred.
I would call it an attack. But, yeah, when the sexual, spiritual activity was occurring, he didn't want it to stop. He didn't want us to try to, get rid of it or anything by any means. He just wanted it on his own terms. So, it was very interesting. It was probably one of the more interesting investigations I've been on. He was very very specific about the fact that he didn't want it to stop.
Did he say what they look like?
No, really, I'm cool with this.
Yeah,
Did he say what they look
did
like?
Not want it to be what?
I was asking, did he say what the succubi looked like? Were they like
No.
redheads?
And, I had the hardest time just keeping a straight face during the whole thing. I mean, I'm thinking, man, dude, you've got it made. And,
Why did you call me?
The whole time he's saying, no, I don't want to get rid of it. Just, please don't make it go away.
So what happened with that?
Nothing. We did the investigation, and of course we didn't find anything there. I mean, he's got some mental issues, and we found
Obviously.
very strong prescription medicine that he was on too in his medicine cabinet, and I'm sure that was probably drug-induced hallucinations, but he nothing. We never heard anything else from him. I think he was just happy to have someone come out and listen to him. It seems like a lot of the investigations, people really just want someone to talk to. And,
Sure.
It's like you get to play psychologist a lot. You get to listen to people's problems. You get to listen to all their personal drama. And that's really what makes a lot of the people happy is, they don't care so much about the explanation. They don't really care so much of what you're doing. They just want a person there. So it was interesting. We've been on some absolutely crazy investigations.
Now, how many people are in your team with you, Larry?
We have about 150 members in the organization total. Depending on the investigation that we're going to, we generally will bring a core group of between probably 8 to 10 people.
Okay.
It really just depends on the size of the location. Some of the larger locations, we did an investigation 3 weeks ago at the tuberculosis sanatorium, and we had about 45 people at that. So, it really just depends. We try not to overload the investigations. If there's too many people, you're going to have people bumping into each other, and there's going to be contamination of data and things like that. But for the most part, we try to keep things small. But we have had some real, very, very interesting investigations we've gone on. We've been on an investigation where we found methamphetamine that was being manufactured.
Oh gosh!
We've been on an investigation where there was a hidden weapons cache. I mean, and I'm talking like machine gun type weapons. We've been on investigations where people have had. Is this a PG rated show or?
Oh no, go for it, man.
We've been on investigations where there have been lots of sex toys that have been left out, lots of accessories and things. You would think if you're inviting a team of unknown individuals to your house,
hide your sex toys, man. Put those away.
Or the methamphetamines in the weapons cache.
Clean things up.
Yeah.
I've
don't mind the meth lab. The disturbance is taking place in the other room.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the weird smell,
We did an investigation. Actually, the investigation that had the meth lab where we found meth. But
this might be part of your problem.
Do what?
You're like, this might be part of your problem, guys.
Well, that was the quickest investigation we've ever done. We have several of us in the group that are in law enforcement, and we immediately recognized the signs. I mean, there was.
Oh wow.
Our cameraman actually found a rock of crystal methamphetamine that was on the floor in the bathroom. But besides that, I mean, there was pool chemicals that were in the garage, and there was no pool. There was,
that's kind of scary.
There was the classic signs of corrosion around the metal items, like the faucets and stuff that occur, things like that. But
did your law enforcement
investigation do what?
Did your law enforcement guys go back and bust the place later?
No, but we really weren't sure what to do because it was really out of the jurisdiction of everyone. So no, we really didn't do anything about it. But we crushed up the piece that we found and pretty much left.
Yeah.
So that particular investigation was interesting too, in that they were also producing some homemade porn at that place.
Oh, God.
In the bedroom where most of the reported activity occurred, they had a webcam that was mounted on the wall facing the bed. And my first clue when I walked in the bedroom was, man, that's weird. And, after 10 years of marriage, that stuff just doesn't happen. And so, as we're talking to the individuals throughout the night, she said, "Well, I've got a picture that I want you to see that we took." Okay. I was like, okay.
Sure.
It's an orb, and generally I'm like, yeah, okay, it's dust. So anyway, so we go back to the computer that was hooked up to the webcam, and
it's on my thigh.
And she tells me the first thing out of her mouth was, "Are you shy?" She asked me if I'm shy, and I'm like, well, no, not really. I mean, it just really depends on what. She's like, well, there's a lot of personal pictures that you'll probably see, and I don't want you to be embarrassed. And I'm thinking, well, hell yeah, bring it on. So she fires up her computer, and I definitely saw what the webcam was being used for.
I see.
So, I mean, it was
oh my
the orb
gosh.
that she wanted to show me was not the orb that I was thinking that it was going to be.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I mean, we've had all kinds of crazy stuff. We've had people that'll tell us, we don't want any type of promotion that you guys are coming out. We don't want any neighborhood knowledge of this. And then we show up and there's 50 people in the
It's
driveway.
Ghostbusters. They're coming.
Wanting to know if they're going to be on television.
Oh my God.
We get that a lot. We get a lot of people that just have some very, very unusual stories. We had a guy contact us about a werewolf that was living in his shower.
How'd that turn out?
We never investigated that.
Why would he be in the shower? I thought werewolves enjoyed the nice open spaces of the deep forest,
You would think, yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
We've got a caller on for you from Raleigh, North Carolina. This is Ron Paul Hunter. Ron, what's going on tonight out in Raleigh?
Oh, guys, not too much. Nice, pleasant evening, I guess.
It is. It's nice weather.
Pretty nice, depending on what it was before.
Well, I mean, we had a lot of rain come through here. That low-pressure system that just cruised on in kind of gave us a good soaking. But
Okay.
Same here.
What kind of question do you have for Larry tonight?
Basically, Larry, if people, and this is just for people that would be interested in getting into something along these lines, is there any commercially available software that you use for all this audio programming? Is it something you put together yourself, or is all the stuff you use off the shelf?
Good question.
For what? That is a good question, but specifically for what?
For the audio spectrum. Do you have an audio spectrum analyzer? And if so,
we do, yeah. We have a standalone Hewlett-Packard unit.
Okay, so that's something that you bought off the shelf, right? You guys don't cook up your own equipment, I guess, is what I'm asking. Like the three-dimensional electromagnetic.
Yeah, that was built. That was custom designed for us.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff that we use is off the shelf, but one of the main problems with a lot of the off-the-shelf equipment, especially the consumer-grade equipment, is that there's really no calibration standards that are available. If you look at like the K2 meter and you look at some of the less expensive but still decent meters like the tri-field meter, things like that, there's really no ability to calibrate those units.
Ron, Larry and Ron both, let me interject this real quick. Ron, it was a great question you brought up. Are you Ron, I think you're familiar with it because I think we've talked about it before, but Larry, are you familiar with a paranormal PC?
I am, yeah. Okay.
Joshua, a friend of mine, I think a buddy of his builds it. What do you think of that software?
Honestly, or...
You can be honest with us, man.
I think it's worthless.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I really do. The one that I've seen, the commercially available version of it, uses a standard webcam, which is very, very low resolution, very, very low frame rate per second, also very low night vision ability. The EMF meter that's built into it has a very high swing tolerance, so there's really not a specific range that you could get from it. And it's basically a good idea, but I think poorly executed.
Okay, fair enough.
It's an excellent idea, having one piece of equipment basically that amalgamates several different pieces of equipment. And that's the direction that we've tried to move on a lot of our pieces of equipment. But the fact of the matter is, the more pieces of equipment you jam into one box, basically, the more issues you have with crosstalk, the more issues you have with interference, things like that. And it's really hard to separate pieces of equipment electrically from each other like that.
I think they were just trying to make something that the average consumer.
Now you can be a ghost hunter.
Yeah, I think that was kind of part of it.
Yeah. Ron, do you have anything else for Larry tonight?
Well, I was going to say that sounds like the paranormal PC sounds like a very sound concept. It would be great to exploit that, perhaps with a set of sensors where you could upgrade them so that.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That was my thought. My very first thought when I saw that, I thought, awesome idea, poor execution of it. If you could have a set of upgradable sensors, just like you said, if you could have, pieces of things that were firmware upgradable rather than just off-the-shelf pieces of equipment that they had thrown together and kind of repurposed as a paranormal catch-all.
But you're probably looking at you're probably looking at a price increase though of thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, but
not necessarily, Jay.
It really depends. I mean, the whole Walmart principle probably comes into play too. I mean, the higher quantities of stuff that's purchased. But again, generally when it comes to equipment, I really hate to say it, but you do get what you pay for.
Sure. No, I agree.
You really
with that.
do. I mean, whether it's whether you're buying for a name brand. Okay, perfect example, the FLIR thermal camera. There are other thermal cameras out there, like the Fluke makes a very, very capable unit too. But the fact that people will purchase a FLIR unit over and above the Fluke unit, not even withstanding the fact that the FLIR is 5 to 10% higher in price than the Fluke, it's the name recognition. People are used to that name. They know that the name signifies quantity or quality, I should say. They know that there's a good reputation. They know that there's a good company behind it. So, people will pay more for better stuff, and you really do get what you pay for. I mean, if you compare a $100 EMF meter with a $1,000 EMF meter, there is huge differences.
It's just like home electronics. You spend $200 for a TV, or you spend $2,000 for a TV, you're going to get
Big
better
difference.
quality.
Yeah. Well,
and that's one of the problems, actually, that we run across when we try to share data with other investigative groups.
They have
that a lot of the other groups
equipment.
have different pieces of equipment that have different tolerance levels. They have different accuracy levels, and it's very hard to get, kind of a apples to apples comparison.
Okay. Well, Ron, we got to let you go. We only have about 2 minutes left. So thanks again for calling.
Okay,
And,
I had one quick last one. Could he go over the spectrums that he looks at, and does he consider to be paranormal activity a high energy or a low energy type residual investigation? But thanks for having me on.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Ron.
Ron.
Good question.
All
That
right.
is a really good question. Do we have time to answer that?
Yeah, go for
We
it.
got a minute, Scott.
Okay. I think for the most part, the paranormal field is still largely unknown. There's still a large amount of this that we're just kind of learning as we go. But I think for the most part, what we're starting to see and what is traditionally believed to be paranormal phenomena really is within the lower bands of the spectrums, whether it's the 29 hertz like we talked about before, whether it's within some other infrasonic frequencies as well. We could get into the first, second, and third law of thermodynamics. We could talk about, stuff like that as far as...
God, I wish we had time, Larry.
And things like that.
Oh, my.
But, yeah, that was the short answer.
Yeah.
I know. Look, Larry, I really want to have you back on. We had a great time with you tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
when your books come out, we'd like to maybe get a copy and we'll read it and we'll talk about it in maybe a little more detail, possibly.
Yeah, absolutely. The first book will be out in February 2009, and then the second book, I made sure while we were on our break, will be summer 2009.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, keep us in touch.
Keep us posted, yeah.
And we definitely want you back on, Larry.
Awesome.
Okay.
all right. Thanks so much.
Thanks again.
Have
Thank
a good
you guys.
night.
I had a great time.
Good. We
Okay.
did too. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that was Larry Flaxman.
Good guess.
Very good. Yeah, D did a good job booking that.
I know, seriously.
Where's my music, Chuck?
Missed out.
WTF.
Getting to it.
Man,
Oh, he's getting to it. All right.
I mean, when we're talking about archaeological strip clubs and meth labs and porn,
it doesn't get better than that.
I mean,
Good gosh.
oh, that's hilarious. Oh, we're so over time, but
I know.
who cares? I mean, it was an excellent interview, and we were running late anyway.
Chuck's jamming, man.
I know. Look at him. Check him out.
All right, this is Jay Scott. You're only JDDJ on the OmniSound Radio 1 network.
This is Trent Lackey. We're coming to you from Kernersville, North Carolina, a small town where we talk about big things.
Mr. Chuck Rauda.
We out!